Donald Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship was just blocked by U.S. District Judge John J. McConnell Jr. in a federal court. This ruling, I think, was a crucial, if temporary, victory for the rule of law against a president who, acts like some kind of wannabe strongman. And look, this decision, it was more than just some like abstract legal argument for a bunch of academics to debate, in a dusty library. This was a necessary defense of the 14th Amendment against a calculated, just a cruel attack from a narcissistic, power-hungry creep. Honestly, the potential consequences are terrifying. And it's not only me saying it. I mean, legal experts have been like screaming about this from the rooftops on MSNBC, right? They were talking about the potential for just a full-blown humanitarian crisis manufactured right here in the United States by these ghouls. So here's what author and contributor Paulo Ramos had to say about the sheer chaos this would unleash. I mean, I want you to listen.
Weeks and need an injunction now. What is your sense to this judge's ruling?
I mean, I think we can anticipate the potential chaos. Now, this idea that you and I are even having a conversation about the fact that potentially at the end of the month, there could be 28 states that start revoking birthright citizenship. What that looks like on the ground is chaos. It looks like a potential new emerging humanitarian crisis within our borders. It looks like then the beginning of potentially mass statelessness. And so the question that haunts me is, for those people that belong nowhere in the eyes of the government, for those people that then cannot be repatriated back to countries, say Venezuela or Cuba, what happens to them? What is the administration capable of doing to people like that?
Wait, what does happen to them?
Well, that's the question.
Mass statelessness. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A concept that was supposed to be, I guess, relegated to the dustbin of history alongside tyrants and failed states. This isn't an accident or a bug in the system. It's the entire point for these Republican devotees. And, this goes way beyond a hypothetical threat. It feels like the same ideology is fueling the physical terror being inflicted on communities right now, while these fanatics in Washington scheme about rewriting the 14th Amendment. Their like enforcement squads are already on the streets treating cities like occupied territory. I mean, just look at what was happening in Los Angeles under the Trump administration. They were literally sweeping people up off the streets based on, what they look like, turning a major American city into a hunting ground for this guy's political theater. Lindsay Kozlowski, an attorney from the Immigrant Defenders Law Center, was on the ground dealing with this whole mess firsthand. This is what she said about the situation, and I need you to understand, this is not like an exaggeration. It's a sworn legal testimony.
Suing the Trump administration over immigration raids across the city. And I know you've been representing people that were caught up in these raids. What are they experiencing?
What is happening in Los Angeles is truly unprecedented. We have the political theater of troops in the streets walking through MacArthur Park this week as, a show of force. Even our mayor showed up to ask them to leave. We have people who are being racially profiled. That's part of the lawsuit that will be in court on today, who are being racially profiled, who are being swept up. They're showing up at car washes. They're picking nannies up off of the streets. They are looking at street vendors and others and sweeping them up, violating people's constitutional rights. And then once they have people in their custody, they are keeping them in dungeon-like conditions. Just yesterday, we spoke to a man who has prostate cancer.
Dungeon-like conditions. I mean, come on, are we serious right now? We're talking about holding a man with, what was it? Prostate cancer in a room with 60 other people and denying them water. That is some straight up strongman behavior, And if you thought holding sick people in dungeons was the bottom of the barrel, you'd be wrong, because these people always find a new low. The most chilling part of that testimony is what they did when lawyers, actual officers of the court, showed up to do their jobs and defend people's basic rights. So, at this point, it goes beyond simple cruelty. It's a direct assault on the rule of law itself, which I guess it shouldn't surprise me. When you can't win your arguments in court and the Constitution isn't on your side, the only move a wannabe strongman has left is to physically attack the people trying to uphold it. Let me play you the rest of what Lindsay Kozlowski said. This is what a government completely, unmoored from legal and moral constraints looks like.
To sleep. People are being held in conditions where sometimes the only access to water that they have is in the bathroom sink. These are absolutely deplorable conditions. And part of the challenge in this lawsuit is that they are also denying them access to counsel. Our lawyers and myself have been there and have even had force used against us, have had tear gas used against attorneys who are there trying to protect people's basic constitutional rights. LA right now is a city under siege by the federal government, and this is a fight that none of us can afford.
This utter contempt for the law, for the Constitution, for basic human decency is exactly the kind of thing that, keeps sane people up at night. And I'm not only talking about activists and commentators here, I'm talking about people at the highest levels of our judicial system, like Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She wasn't speaking at some political rally or something. She was just answering a straightforward question in an interview. When you ask a Supreme Court justice what keeps her up at night, you might expect some, esoteric legal worry, but her answer was, it was blunt and aimed right at the heart of the problem. She basically confirmed the fears that people like Lindsay Kozlowski are living through every single day. This is what Justice Jackson said, right? And it's kind of a quiet alarm bell from inside one of the most powerful institutions on earth.
Our theme song, To Be Real. What keeps you up at night?
I would say the state of our democracy. I would say that I am really very interested in getting people to focus and to invest and to pay attention to what is happening in our country and in our government.
Who's your favorite United States District Judge?
Oh! No comments.
Sorry. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? I don't know. What is my fried chicken? Probably.
Okay.
Fried chicken.
Okay. Let's give it up for fried chicken, everybody. All right. We'll serve that when we play To Be Real. And are you watching any TV right now? And if so, what?
Not right now, but only because my favorite show is not on right now.
What is it?
A sitting justice on the Supreme Court is practically begging people to pay attention to what the government is doing. That is not normal, and it tells you everything you need to know about how close to the edge we really are with these bootlicking Republicans in power. It's just a wild contrast when you think about it. This deep concern for the country's chaotic political state coming from inside an institution that is apparently one of the most rigid and formal places on the planet. Honestly, I always figured that behind closed doors they'd at least loosen their collars a bit, but according to Justice Jackson, that is not the case at all. In fact, the reality is it's the complete opposite. She said she was genuinely surprised by how intensely formal and structured everything is, even when the public isn't watching, It's a level of procedural rigor that feels like it's from, another century, especially when you compare it to the chaos these Republican imbeciles unleash on a daily basis. Here's Justice Jackson describing what it's actually like behind the scenes at the Supreme Court.
I didn't realize how formal the court really is. I kind of thought maybe when the justices go into conference, they let their hair down a little bit, you know. No. No.
That's a hard no.
We speak in order, seniority order. We vote in seniority order. We shake each other's hands every time in a ritual that we do before going out to the bench, or if we're just having a conference day before conference, every time. And so it's kind of interesting and neat, but it's quite a formal institution. Yeah.
Was that what you expected?
I don't think I expected it that.
Okay.
I mean, certainly I got a glimpse of that from the clerkship, but I'm talking about what we do behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me get this straight. The Supreme Court operates with such deference to rules that they speak and vote in order of seniority and perform a ritual handshake every single time they meet. Meanwhile, the political party that, appointed most of them is actively trying to end birthright citizenship, tear gas lawyers, and install a narcissistic grifter who thinks the law doesn't apply to him. This is the central fight for America's future right here. I mean, it is a struggle between an institution so committed to norms it won't even let justices speak out of turn, and a political movement, so I guess nihilistic, it's willing to create a stateless population just to score points with its followers. And that's why Justice Jackson is right to be worried, and it's why we have to do more than just pay attention. We have to fight back in the courts, in the streets, and at the ballot box against these power-hungry creeps who hold our Constitution and our fellow human beings in just absolute contempt. All right, that's it for me today. It's a hell of a thing, isn't it? Our highest court is obsessed with rituals and handshakes while the GOP runs around trying to, burn down every rule that holds this country together. The contrast is just staggering. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is it the sheer cruelty of these policies, or is it the blatant hypocrisy of it all that gets under your skin the most? I do my best to read as many as I can. If you appreciate someone calling out this insanity for what it is, do me a solid and demolish that like button. And if you haven't already, for God's sake, subscribe to the channel and, ring that little notification bell so you don't miss the next time these lunatics give us something to talk about. Thanks for watching. Stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.